Hey, what's up, guys? This is Coach Chase Rimberg, DFW Penguin Basketball, penguinhoops.com. Hey, share this with a parent that has a son or daughter that plays youth sports, because this can be really informative here today. And I want to talk to you guys about this because I want you guys to understand and see the stuff that I see. Some of you guys have no idea what I'm handling on the other side. Unless you've done the book for me in games multiple times, you don't see how much this goes on. You don't see what goes on. And to some of you guys, I seem like a madman, right? About certain, like, what's wrong with Coach Chase? Why is he so upset? Why does he seem so mad, right? It's a lot that goes on. And a lot of times, even the referees, the referee supervisor, the guys over the league, they don't know that this stuff goes on as much as it does. But I handle it really, really well. And, you know, I'll take my lumps sometimes, but I always inform the kids of what's going on. And what's funny is, you know, even the younger kids like 4th and 5th grade, once they play in the leagues and play games for a while, they know that this stuff goes on. I'm going to talk about the different ways that coaches cheat in youth basketball. Now, I'm not talking about tournament ball. We play tournaments, but, you know, the tournament rules are a little bit different, right? But these guys, these coaches, since a lot of times they lack the ability to coach, to compensate for their lack, they do a lot of cheating, and they cheat a lot of different ways, and they come up with a lot of different ways to cheat, and it's really criminal how they do it. Like, it's sinister, it's diabolical, it's unsportsmanlike, and I want you guys to know some of the different ways. I might even have a 2-part series to this, right? I want you guys to know the different ways that these coaches cheat. Now, it was just to let you guys know, from 2020, right after the C word, when they started letting teams play again, until probably around late 2023, there was a lot of coaches that kind of came together like Avengers. They don't know that I know, but I know, right? To try to make me look bad, and they were doing it by cheating, right? Now, I don't have anything personal against these guys, but, you know, it's a lot of stuff that goes on that you guys don't know, as far as like guys being really, the admiration turning into jealousy, and them seeing me kick their ass with the guys that we had, right? So they started to get more and more creative. They were sharing players and stuff, and we would lose games surely based on cheating, right? Now, a lot of these coaches were cool now, but they didn't know that I knew what was going on, right? But I don't want to call any names out. I don't want to say anything. Any of those coaches see this. I don't have anything against any of you guys. I see it, or I saw it as a sign of respect. Without further ado, I want to get into it. So, the number one way that coaches cheat, it is blatantly obvious. The number one way that coaches cheat, it could be in rec league, it could be in select league, even in tournaments. They bring older players that aren't on this current team to the game. So, for example, let's say we're in the 4th grade A League, the top division. They will bring down a 6th grade kid from another team, or two, to the 4th grade game. They'll bring down a 5th grade kid from the 5th grade team to their lower team, and no one really questions it, right? Or, you know, they'll say, okay, well, this kid is 13, but he's 13 years and 8 months, but I'm going to try my best to sneak him on the roster and get his mom to do it. Now, what's crazy is a lot of these parents of the kids that they're cheating with, they have no idea that this is going on. They're just showing up to the game. They get an email, they get a text message from the coach, hey, your son has a game here. The kid may not even know that he's playing down until they get a little bit older or they check out what's going on, right? But a lot of times, a lot of coaches, they will bring a kid that is older or too old to play down, or they're in the wrong grade, right? He's in the 6th grade and he's playing 5th grade. That's not the rule. If you're in the 5th grade, you're in the 5th grade, right? You need to be playing 5th grade, right? So that's the number one way they cheat. They bring older players down a grade or two to play against younger players to get a win. The second way they do it is they bring players on a higher team, a higher level team, down to play a lower level team in a lower level league. So let's say if I have a 5th grade team that's really, really good, right? But they're in a lower level. And this other club or this other coach has 2 or 3 teams, and he has 2 5th grade teams. He has one team that's kind of starting off and they're not as good. And then he has this souped up, really good 5th grade team that plays in the top league. Well, if my team is pretty good and they're afraid of losing, and a lot of times these coaches know they're not going to outcoach me, the only way that they can beat me is to bring down a kid where they don't have to do, they're so talented, they don't have to do any coaching. These 2 kids can score 20 or 30 points apiece and they just beat us by 40, beat us by 50. And the coach doesn't have to coach, he makes himself look good. And in turn, sometimes they're trying to make me look bad, right? Make me look like I don't know what I'm doing, right? But what a lot of these coaches don't realize is, or they don't understand is, the kids on my team, even sometimes the kids on their team understand like, hey, Bobby and Mike, they never play with us. Why are they playing with us today? They're on the A team, we're on the B team, right? So after a while, it catches up to these coaches and they start to look bad within their own program. But a lot of times, it's not even just club coaches, it's like just like dad coaches. They'll go and find a kid, or they have their buddy like, hey, you know that one kid on your A team in the 9th grade, do you think he can come play with us? You know, let him know that his name is Bobby Jones today. So if Coach Tate, you know Coach Tate is all about these rules, and I know they're at first place in the league, they're gonna wonder why we're 4-1, and we're 4-7, and they're 7-2. They're gonna wonder why we're beating them by 40 when they just beat us by 40 2 weeks ago, right? So make sure you tell your buddy from school, if he's going to play with us, that his name is Bobby Jones. Bobby Jones is out of town this week, right? So when we do the roster check, they're having the kid lie for them, right? So they'll have a kid, I'm going a little bit too deep, but they'll have a kid basically, or kid or two, come down from their A level team to their B or C level team to play against us. So yeah, the kid is in the same grade, but he never plays with them. He never plays with this group of kids. So it's surely just to get a win. I've had this happen one time, and this is crazy that these guys, they get so creative with cheating, but they won't get creative with looking up information on how to become a better coach, right? So another way coaches cheat is they'll give 2 players the same jersey number, right? And so let's say the best player on the team is number 15, and then they get another kid that's the worst player on the team. He's number 15, right? Normally, if this happens, which it happens often, 2 kids end up getting the wrong number. I make sure I don't do that. If I make a mistake and give a kid the wrong jersey number, or they move teams or something, like start off on one team and they're separate, and these 2 kids end up with the same jersey number on the same team down the line, I make sure that I give the new kid a new jersey, or you have to let the ref know before the game, hey, I have 2 kids with the same jersey number. This is Bobby, the taller kid. This is Mike, the smaller kid. Mike, let's put in the book that this is small number 15, tall number 15, right? So now when the ref is going on during the game, he's specifying which kid got the foul. But what some of these coaches do is they don't let the ref know. They don't let the opposing coach know. They don't let the book know, right? They might have a parent from their team doing the book. So their best player has 3 fouls in the first half, right? So the best player is number 15, and then the worst player, or another kid on the team, he's number 15. Instead of giving the best player these 3 fouls, they're marking them over here on the bad kid, right? So I'm watching the game like, okay, well, this kid's got 3 fouls. We go to the second half, he gets 5. They're like, no, those 5 fouls were on this kid. He's fouled out. I'm like, absolutely not. And if the ref is not paying attention, it'll work. So basically, this kid will get 8 fouls and he's not fouled out. This kid gets 5 and he's gone. And the best player on the team still has 4 fouls to give before he fouls out the second half. And these guys do that stuff to get a win. I know it may sound crazy that an adult 30, 40, 50, 60-year-old, 20-year-old man, 25-year-old man will go out and cheat like this. But they get extremely creative with cheating. And that's why sometimes you'll see me over on the table, like talking to the table, and I'll look upset, or I walk out on the floor and talk to the ref in the middle of the game because it's obvious blatant cheating that some of these coaches are doing in a 4th grade, 3rd grade, 5th grade basketball game just to get a win. The last thing is, and it's just crazy that they get this creative. PSA, one of the gyms that I coach at, a while back, the cheating got really, really bad to where guys were bringing 7th graders to 5th grade games, to 4th grade games, the 7th grader to a 4th grade game because the 7th grader was extremely small and he could pass as a 4th grader because he was small, stuff like that. And I came to PSA and I was like, hey man, the cheating is getting bad. We need to do something where we put the rosters on the table for the game. Tex, how are we gonna do that? Well, just print them out every day. I wanted them to get the kid's face, just kind of like the coaches have badges with their face on it, but due to legalities, you can't do that. So when now they came up with a rule years ago to where if a coach suspects another coach cheating, then they can request a roster check. So basically the kid, everyone lines up and they check the kid's name, age, and all that stuff. A lot of coaches that cheat a lot know I'll do this to them. So what they would do is they would have the kid waiting until the game starts. And once the game is like 3 or 4 minutes in, the kid that they're cheating with, they would tell the kid to come over after the game starts because the roster check will happen before the game starts. So they would have the kid come over at the 15-minute mark like they showing up late to the game. This is, I'm sorry you parents have to deal with this. Well, I'm glad you don't see what's going on, but they had the kid show up late to the game. That's illegal. The illegal player on their team that have them show up late to the game on purpose. The kid is there during warm-ups. The kid is there during the roster check, but he's hanging out and he's watching until the game starts, and they have the kid come over. It's crazy, right? This is just a couple of ways that coaches cheat. I want to let you guys know it may be a part 2 to this, but get a laugh out of this and look for it because I'm not nuts. I'm just trying to make sure your son gets a fair shake because he's working his butt off. The team gets a fair shake because they're working their butt off to get a fair game. All right, I'm Coach Tex Monroe, DFW Penguin Basketball. I'll see you guys later.